to quit my job and to start a business dollars every single month in my business. Right now, my daughter is out of school and we're just hanging out. We're having a little bit of fun. She had to do some homework, but nonetheless, I want you to understand that there is flexibility. Right now, it's almost 12 o'clock and we're just now getting into work. You see what I have on right now. I'm very comfy, cozy, okay? And it's all because of the Lord. It's all because of the Lord Jesus Christ and what He allowed me to do in order to be able to start my business and actually generate revenue. He led me on a path where He really took me around the path of where everybody else says that you got to do. Everybody else says that you have to build an audience, that you have to build social media content strategies, that you have to be consistent on social media, that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do all of these things in order to have a successful business. And I did not do any of that. And yet, by God's grace, He has allowed me to be successful. Now, I know that a lot of you might not believe. You might think that, oh, well, maybe you had a nest egg. Maybe you had a website already set up. Maybe you had a bunch of, thousands of dollars already saved up. I did not. I did not have any followers. I did not have a website. I did not purchase any ads. Matter of fact, I'm a single mom. I'm a Black single mom, and I did not have a lot of time. I was doing this by myself, still am doing this by myself, but it was only by the grace of the Lord that He allowed me to start a business and to actually generate thousands of dollars every single month. This is not something that, oh, I just started something and, I got paid a couple of $1,000s one time. No, over the last several years now, God has been very consistent in allowing me to be able to generate several thousands of dollars every single month. Not only that, He's allowed me to be able to work with multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs off the bat. And it didn't take several months, y'all. I did it. God allowed me to do it in less than 60 days. And what I want you to really understand right now is that if you're looking at this video in Q4 of this year, or really whenever time, but specifically if you're looking at this video in Q4, you really want is burden to start a business, now is the time. And the reason why is because November and December are the highest volume of time where people are purchasing and they're buying and they're buying and they're buying. They're not just buying, retail products and gifts for other people. No, people are buying things because they want to change their life. People are in the season right now where they are reflecting over the past year, and they are wanting to do something different. And how beautiful would it be if a daughter or a son of God starts a business and you're actually doing that business, and you know that you're going to run into the person that actually needs something that God has gifted and ordained you to be able to do. And so right now is the time to start a business if the Lord has placed it on the inside of your heart to be able to do so. Do not wait. I'm telling you guys, you do not have to have thousands of followers. You do not have to spend money on ads. You do not, hey y'all that's coming in, you do not have to spend money on ads. You don't have to have a website. You don't have to have everything that everybody else is saying. And the thing about it, get this y'all, is that I'm actually going to give you strategy in this video. A lot of other people, they do not tell you anything. They make you purchase a course before they tell you anything. But today we're going to give you actual strategy that you can take back and that you can actually implement today. And so I'm really excited about it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So of course the job was horrible, right? Job was horrible. And when I was in a place where I wanted to quit my job, of course, or not quit my job because it's not mine anymore. I don't claim possession over it. But when I wanted to quit that job that I had, I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of money. A lot of people, they'll tell you that you need to purchase a website and that you need to get a professional email so that people can take you seriously. I had none of that. The first thing that I did was, first of all, I mapped out a plan, and I did it with the Lord. I mapped out a plan for when I could actually quit. What day was I actually going to quit the job? Okay. What day was I actually going to quit the job? Hold on, y'all. You need to, and maybe this is something you don't need to be eating out. You don't need to be out. You need to, and maybe this is something you don't need to be eating out. You don't need to be doing any of that, because you need to take all of those dollars that you would usually spend on everything else, going to Chick-fil-A, going to the mall, all that money that you would usually spend on that, you now need to put that into your savings bucket. Okay, you can open up a different bank account, a whole new bank account, and just put that money in there and have it be for your expenses. But overall, you need to see how you can cut down on your expenses as much as possible. As much as possible. The car that you drive, do you need to drive that car? The place that you live, where are you living right now? Is there flexibility there, right? I'm not saying get yourself into a pickle. Don't get yourself into a bind, but understand that you don't need everything that you think that you need, okay? Because right now you're in not necessarily survival mode, but you're in a mode where you're in a mode where it's just like, okay, let's do what we got to do, because the next 30 to 60 days is going to be, you're going to be hitting the pavement hard. Okay. All right. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is to outline and map out your plan for how you are going to quit your job. And you need to identify with the Lord the date and let the Lord lead. Okay. Identify the date that you're going to give your notice. Also have in mind the date that is going to be your very last day, and do a calculation for how much money you will have by the time that you leave, with keeping in mind that you are not going to be spending money on going out to eat. Matter of fact, a lot of the reason why a lot of people fail in a lot of areas of their life is because of what we're eating. A lot of the reasons why we can't be consistent in certain areas of our life is because we're eating. And I don't say that as from a place of judgment. I say that from a place of, I've experienced it before. You're focused when you just ate a steak and a big potato versus you're focused when you just ate a salad and some fruit and some bananas. Your focus in your mind is completely different. Your body is reacting completely differently, and your output is completely different. Okay. So let's make some changes within the next couple of days and say, okay, we're being serious about this and we're moving forward in the direction that God has for us. Okay. So that's the first thing that you're going to do, is to map out the day that you're going to leave, how much money you're going to have, and your very last day that you're going to be in that job. Okay. Now, from there, the thing that you want to do is you want to get your free email account. Okay. The thing that we're going to be doing, the strategy that I'm going to be telling you guys is emailing. You're going to be emailing your clients. You're not going to be creating social media content. You're not going to be, getting on people's podcasts yet. You're not going to be doing all of that other stuff. No social media, no YouTube, no podcast, nothing. We're not creating content yet because that's too much for you, to be honest. To be completely honest. Email is the very easiest thing for you to do. Email allows you to have flexibility in your schedule. Email allows you to get directly to your client, okay? It allows you to get directly to your client without all of the rigmarole. All right. So you're going to identify a very free email account, and you're going to make that email account very professional. It can be a free email account. It does not have to be the business package that you have to purchase and make it all cute. No, nobody cares about that. And the reason why people don't care about that is because people care more about their getting their solutions met and their needs met more than they care about you appearing professional. You appear professional not because you have a .com. You appear professional because of how you speak, because of the confidence that you have on the inside of you, because of who God created you to be. That is what causes you to be professional, okay? And that's what causes people to respect you. I got a myriad of clients with a very free Gmail account, people who were willing to pay me money to help them because they in their minds, they were thinking more about their solutions being met more than they cared about whether or not I had a .com. Okay, people are willing to pay you without you having a .com. I still work with professionals right now who have been in business for several years, and they do not have a .com email. They are professionals. They make several thousand. This is their full-time job, and they do not have a .com email. They will definitely be using a gmail.com email. There are people who do that, and so you need to create a free email. When you sign up, you can say, yes, it's for business, but no, I'm not getting the business package. Okay. When you go on Gmail, say, yes, this is a business email. No, I'm not getting the business package right now. I'm getting the free email right now. Okay. So you want to do that, and you want to make it professional. greenhousemarketing@gmail.com. White Snow Cleaning Company @gmail.com. Do not add letters. Do not add periods. Do not add underscores. Make it clean. Make it simple. Okay. All right, so then the next thing that you want to do is you want to identify who is your client. Who are you called to serve? If you're a marketing company, if you're a marketing agency, who are you going to be serving? Are you going to be serving professionals? Are you going to be serving, real estate agents? Are you going to be serving dental offices? Who are you going to be serving? Once you figure that out, you need to write everything that you could possibly think of about that person. Who are they? You want to create an ideal client or an ideal candidate, right? For who's going to be your client. Now, this step is very crucial because when I have started a business and I don't do this very crucial step, I get confused. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where I'm going. I don't do any of that. But the reason why, and this is a strategy that a lot of people pay for, that I'm about to give you right now, that most people pay thousands of dollars for, and I'm about to give it to you right now because a lot of entrepreneurs, they see success because they do this and they understand this to a T, okay? You need to figure out everything that you can about your client because it helps you to be able to show up with efficiency. It puts you at the number one spot in the eyes of your client. Okay? Because we're working in we're co-laboring with God, okay? And so you don't want imagine God is giving you the alley-oop and God says, okay, I want you to, what is that? I'm sorry, y'all. It's always something. Maybe God is giving you the alley-oop for you to do an amazing work over on LinkedIn or over on Pinterest. But because you think that you know better than God, you went and you said, you know what, I'm going to create all of this content on YouTube and on Instagram and all this stuff. And God didn't give you the alley-oop over there. God gave you the alley-oop on Pinterest and on LinkedIn, right? And perhaps if you were to submit to God and say, God, where is my client? Where are they showing up? How do I need to meet them? How can I have a conversation with them and build a relationship with them? God might have told you, hey, you need to go to LinkedIn. God might have told you, hey, you need to go to Pinterest in order to find this particular client. And so then, okay, cool. I'm over here on Pinterest, and boom, you find your client over there on LinkedIn, right? And so this is why you want to do the step of really figuring out who your client is. Is your client over on Instagram? If they are, cool. Then you and the Lord go over to Instagram and you serve them there. But you need to figure out who your client is, where they are, what they're doing so that you know how to talk to them. You know how to speak their language. And even if you're not an expert in all the things about your client, you're at least trying. And even if you're not an expert in all the things about your client, you have these things called podcasts where you can type in a podcast and learn everything that you can about that particular client. If your client is a dental office or a dentist, right? Someone who owns a dental practice, you need to go to a podcast and type in something about dental practices and listen to what kinds of problems they're having. What is their conversation like? What are they talking about? What's on the top of their mind? You'll get very well versed in very little time. Okay. There was one business that God wanted me to start. And I was like, okay, God, I don't know about this person, like this kind of like client, this kind of customer. I don't know everything about them. I started listening to a podcast and that person gave me absolutely everything that they were desiring for this particular business. They gave me the 1, 2, 3, ABC. I mean, they went into detail and they didn't even know it. They were doing a podcast to them about something else, but they were giving me the exact framework for everything that I needed to know about who that client is and what their desires were, what their pain points were. They gave it to me just in a list, just on a platter. Just here you go, right? And so you need to understand and figure out who your client is, where they're showing up, what their pain points are, write all of that down, okay? The very next thing that you need to do is you need to figure out, based on what the exercise that you just did, you need to figure out how you can meet that person. Where are they showing up? Do you need to meet them in person? Do you need to meet them in a networking conference? Do you need to meet them online, on LinkedIn? Do you need to call them? Do you need to email them? Do you need to text them? I would prefer that you email them, okay? I would prefer that you email them because it allows you to control your time versus if you're doing something like social media, you got to wait until it's daytime, right? I'm sitting in front of a window right now. I got to wait until it's daytime to make this video. Otherwise, the video might be a little dark, right? So if you're creating content, think about those things. Think about if you have time during the day to create content. If you don't, okay, maybe send an email so that you can schedule the email to go out at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 p.m., lunchtime, when you're doing something else, right? But you've scheduled that email to already go out and you're already getting directly in front of your client. You're getting directly in front of your customer without having to waste any time, without having to create any content. And the reason why I'm creating content right now is because by God's grace, I'm able to, right? By God's grace, I'm able to. Right now, it's the 13th of the month. I probably won't have a whole lot to do for the rest of the month for one particular business. Right? For one particular business, I could have technically been done with all of my work by the 3rd day of the month. And so for the rest of the month, there's more time, there's flexibility and time. And I don't say that to brag, but I'm saying that so that you can understand that you can be at this point where you don't have to spend a lot of time in your business and you can spend more time later after you've established the foundation of the business. And then you can work on creating content. Then you can work on creating all the other things, but let's build the foundation first and let's build it with God, okay? Because you can do this. I know if I can do this, and I sit from a place of like, God, I still am like, I'm still in like awe that God did this for me, okay? And so if God can do it for me, he can do it for you as well, all right? So we've gone over a few things. You're now at the point where you figured out who your client is. You're going to reach out to them. You're going to email them. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, where can you find their email? Y'all, a lot of times people's emails are directly on their website. I know. It's like, what? It's crazy. A lot of time, people's emails are directly on their website, okay? They're right on their website. So you go on their website because you've already done the due diligence to figure out who this person is, where they're showing up. And so now you're going to create a list of people who are your ideal clients. And you're going to create that list and you're going to go on their website and you're going to find their emails. After you find their emails, you're going to send them an email, okay? And this email does not need to be long. It could be literally 3 sentences. Hi, how are you? My name is Angelise. I am, the director of Greenhouse Marketing Company. We help, tell them what you do. We help companies like yours to reach their revenue goals in less than 60 days. We would love to have a conversation with you. Please let me know when you're available. Kind regards, Angelise. Okay? Very simple. And you send those emails, and that could be a templated email, and you send that same email to all the people that are listed on your list, and you do that every single day. And let me tell you, within the next 60 days, really within the next 30 days, everything can change. Everything can change. How many people do you need to email? I would email about 50 people every single day. 50 people every single day, Monday through Thursday. 50 people every single day. Do it consistently. Make it the very first thing that you do before you do anything else, okay? By God's grace, I did this, and y'all, literally God took me from making $0 per month to making several thousands of dollars in less than 60 days. I replaced my full-time salary in less than 60 days by doing what I just told you. I just gave you the strategy, you guys, okay? I just gave you the strategy. And by God's grace, I have compiled all of the small, tiny details that you need to adhere to when you're going through all of the rigmarole and going through the process. I have created a Quit Your Job bundle so that you can have the step-by-step strategy on how to quit your job and start generating thousands of dollars every single month. This makes it super easy for you. And the thing about this is we're doing this with God at the center, because if you're doing this without God, you're going to fail. It's only a matter of time. You might see a little bit of success, right, for a little bit of time, but without God, you're going to fail. And so I'm giving you all of the strategies on how to include God, not just in your business, but in your life, so that your life will actually be better, and what that looks like, right? A lot of these resources are free, but we include them in the bundle just so you have them all together. And then I give you the detailed steps, the detailed strategies on how to walk this thing out, okay? It is really good. It is really juicy, and it is really meaty. And one thing that we're doing is, if you get the Quit Your Job bundle in the next 24 hours, I will also give you access to our community that we have here at the Single Mom Business School. Because what we don't want you to do is we don't want you to fall off because you're just doing this by yourself, you're trying to work it out by yourself, and you don't have somebody to look to your right and to your left and say, hey, you're doing this with me. Hey, you can actually ask me questions. When you join the community, you essentially, it's like getting my cell phone number, okay? Because you can ask questions, you can DM me, you can, just ask your questions and get your questions answered so that you can continue to see progress. But one thing that I want you to know is that if God has called you to start a business and he's called you to start it now, do it now. Especially because in this season, y'all, people are buying left and right. Okay, people are buying digital products, they're buying services, they're buying a myriad of things because they want their lives to be better. And so how beautiful would it be is that if a child of God, which is you, were to actually go forward and create the content, create the product, create the service, create the offer that will actually help them to make their lives better, when you, as a service provider, are going to do it with God at the center. Your business can do well. It will be successful. It has a 100% success rate. There is no failure. It has to work, or it has to work. There is no other option. And the reason why is because if God said it, then it will happen. If God said that your business is supposed to do a thing, it will happen. There is no failure. The clients will come, the customers will come, and it will not take a long time. It will not take a long time because you're doing this with God. We have to remember scriptures like 1 Kings chapter 4, or I think it was 2 Kings chapter 4, the widow with oil. It did not take a long time for her to get the oil and for her to sell, right? 2 Kings chapter 3, when the son, the child of Jezebel and Ahab, who they were evil and wicked, the son of Jezebel and Ahab, he needed something and he came to a man of God, and God provided for that man, even though he was wicked, even though his mother and his father were wicked. And so how much more will God not provide for you? God's word says that God provides for the birds in the air. So how much more will God not provide for you? Let me tell you, you want to do this business with God so that it can have longevity, so that it can be easy, so that you can wake up and look into your inbox and you can see referrals and you can see new clients and new customers coming into your business, okay, consistently, all because of God. People will find you out of nowhere because you did this business with God, and you did business with God first, and you got it right the first time, okay? And so the Quit Your Job bundle will give you the exact foundation on how to set this thing up with God, right? If you haven't already gotten that from this channel yet. And it will actually give you the detailed strategies that will help you skip the line and get past all the other people while everybody else is being distracted by creating content. You have the exact strategies that you will need in order to start your business and to actually make it successful, all for the glory of God. That's the only way to do it. That's the best way to do it, okay? I love you guys. I pray that this was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys later. By God's grace. Bye.